Ludland Stoddard Block Association, Equality for Flatbush, 320 Sterling Street, Tenant Association, New Directions in Healing, a nonprofit organization, and MTOP, the Movement to Protect the People. This study came out about as a result of the community finding out that there were plans to put 20-plus story buildings on Empire Boulevard. And the organizations that organized around it are the people who will be most affected by that type of development in the community. The community was concerned that 20-story buildings on Empire would cause a serious impairment on the homes and the people who live in that community. Stoddard, Ludland, Sullivan would be placed completely, absolutely in the dark if they had 20-story buildings up against their houses. And both Empire Boulevard has rows of houses, 100 years old on both sides. So there was a serious concern. So Professor Ngadi had come to one of the various meetings that were done in the community, and the Sullivan, Ludland, Stoddard Association asked him, would he begin a community-based study so that we can think about what we want on Empire Boulevard and not what developers want or what politicians want for developers. And this is the result of that study. Now I'm going to hand it over to Professor Ngadi. He is the director of Hunter College Center for Community Planning and Development. He has been in the field for over 30 years. He used to actually work for city planning, and now he actually trains and educates the city planners themselves. So I would like everyone to give him a hand. Professor Ngadi? Where are you? Okay, there it is.
So I have to state this. It was agreed upon the Bureau Committee that your presentation is 15 minutes. We want to make sure we keep on that time. Thank you.
We should do it in 15. So I'm Tom Ngadi. In addition to being a professor of urban planning at Hunter College, and I direct the Center for Community Planning. This has been my whole life and career. I've worked for more than 30 years, more than 40 years as a city planner. And in addition to working at the city planning department as a senior planner, I was a senior planner at HPD, the housing agency. And I've held positions in state offices. And I'm the author of 5 books. The 6th one, which is going to come out in a couple of months, is called Zoned Out: Displacement, Race, and Planning in New York City. The title tells you a little something about one of the reasons why I work with neighborhoods in different parts of the city who are fighting displacement. And one of the scenes of battle is over rezoning. Because what happens too often, has happened in New York City, is when an area gets rezoned, it becomes an immediate overnight gentrification plan. The value of the land goes up, and developers come in and build, rents go up, and all land values go up, leading to displacement, and that has in New York City a racial edge. Well, I'm not going to say any more about this. My other major work is called New York for Sale, which came out in 2008 and has been widely distributed. And it also includes some stories of my years working with the Task Force on Community-Based Planning, which for 10 years was an advocate for planning as the antidote to zoning. So, the Empire Boulevard study. It's really been a process. Planning is a process. Planning makes more sense than zoning. Zoning is a regulatory regime. It doesn't by itself change the world. Though when zoning is changed, it can lead to drastic changes. If you change the zoning on Empire Boulevard, to a residential zone, now it's zoned for commercial, it would overnight create dramatic increases in land values and bring you immediate development. Planning allows people to organize and dream of other alternatives, and then organize to make those alternatives a reality. Amina Hassan, who's here with me, has worked closely with the Empire Study Group through numerous meetings, town hall meetings, where people were asked to talk about their visions. What do you want to see on Empire Boulevard? That's basically what planning is about. And to make it real and to make it concrete. And the one thing that our dialogues brought out, and I think I'll end here because you'll see some of the other concerns in the presentation. One thing everybody was concerned about was that 2.5 block area on Empire Boulevard not be redeveloped for luxury high-rise housing. And so what the study group looked at were, well, if you don't have that, what would you have on Empire Boulevard? And that's what the plan is about. So,
Hey, thank you. If you guys have trouble seeing the presentation, we also have packets where you can follow along. And since, in the interest of time, I may have to go a little bit quickly. If you want to go back and reference, all of the information on the screen is also in the packets. So I'm going to do the presentation in 2 parts. I'm going to talk a little bit about the history and the zoning that we presented in the town hall meetings. And then I'm going to go through a quick overview of the Empire Study Group, the town hall meetings that we've had, and what the feedback we got from the residents were, and then some final thoughts and questions. So again, the study area that we're looking at is Empire Boulevard as it's zoned for commercial uses, and it runs from Flatbush Avenue over to Rogers Avenue. And it includes that little triangle at the edge that has the Fat Albers building, if you're familiar with it. So just a little bit of history. Through research that I did at the New York Public Library, I found a lot of historical maps and found that Empire Boulevard really has always been a very important transit connector. It was first a horse carriage route, and then it transitioned into a streetcar route, but then transitioned into a bus route with rapid transit stops along the way. And one of the important things is that all of those rich transit links connected the city to the rich cultural resources that exist in this area. So, and cultural and recreational resources. The Prospect Park, the Berke Botanical Gardens. This is before the Botanical Gardens existed, but that's where the gardens are now. And Ebbets Field, that is it was formerly at the site of Jackie Robinson Apartments now. So some of the historical and cultural significance of Empire Boulevard in this region include Dodger Stadium, famously for when Jackie Robinson broke the color line in 1947. The stadium was destroyed in 1960, but it was replaced with what is now called Jackie Robinson Apartments, which is middle-income housing. Some other things that people may remember fondly include Empire Roller that existed here until 2007. And there's some good things on the horizon, which include the renovation of Brooklyn Botanical Gardens South entrance that are helping to rebuild the connection between Empire Boulevard and the rich resources that exist along it. So moving on, the unique history of the neighborhood is an asset to this area that has shaped the character of the neighborhood, but also has contributed a lot to New York. The zoning in this area, even though zoning isn't planning and planning isn't zoning, I'm going to talk a little bit about zoning, just to dispel some of the myths about the zoning that exists here. So zoning is a tool that organizes the way land is used in the city. And there are 4 major zoning designations: residential, commercial, manufacturing, and special purpose districts. And it goes from low density to high density. The zoning that we have on Empire Boulevard in the study area is a C82, and it allows for kind of heavy commercial uses, including gas stations, car dealerships, and car washes. So just a little historical note. In 1961 was when there was a major overhaul in the zoning code in New York City, and the existing uses along Empire Boulevard included automotive uses, so there were a lot of car washes, there were garages, there were auto body repair shops, and so the zoning in 1961 really reflected the uses that were already existing along the street. So a little bit more about a C82 zoning designation. It's meant to serve a large area and a big density of people. So it makes sense that we have that in this neighborhood because this is one of the densest neighborhoods in all of Brooklyn. And it makes sense that you would occasionally need to travel to a C82 district because you don't see them all over the place. And Atlantic Avenue, for example, has some C82 zoning. You see some similar uses: car washes, garages, gas stations. But that being said, even though it serves a large region, it doesn't allow for high-density building. So it has an FAR, a floor area ratio, of between 2.0 and 4.8. So the higher the floor area ratio, the more density, the more bulk, the bigger the buildings can get. An FAR of 2.0 or 4.8 is relatively low, which means there's a cap on how tall, even though there isn't a height limit per se. There's a cap on how big your building can be because the lots are only so big. The CA2 district has a ton of potential uses, even though it was designed for automotive related. It really allows for everything. So the list in your packet allows you to see some, but it allows for automotive establishments, drugstores, nurseries. It allows for a post office, veterinary offices, TV studios, dance studios, stadiums, roller rinks. There's really so many different uses. It almost allows for every commercial use that you can imagine in New York City, but at a low density. Okay. So one of the rationales that we came up with for not rezoning is that many of the things that came up in the town hall meetings were that people wanted very commercial uses, and with the existing zoning allows for very commercial uses already. So I'm going to get into the second part. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Empire Study Group's process and some of the feedback that we got from residents. So here's a quick timeline. We kickstarted the Empire Study Group in February of last year with a walking tour. And it brings it up to January 26th, which was when I thought we were going to present. Sorry, I didn't update that. But the walking tour on February 7th kickstarted the group. We had several neighborhood-based associations in attendance. And really it was just a survey of what is going on right now on Empire Boulevard. And we started the discussion about what it is that you would want to see on Empire Boulevard. In the first town hall meeting on April 30th at Full Gospel Assembly, we had about 90 residents in attendance. And it was part public visioning process, and then it was part educational. So I presented some materials on the historic uses on Empire Boulevard, and I also presented materials on the zoning and what's allowed in the current zoning of CA2. And some of the discussions, or a lot of the discussions centered around concern for renter affordability, renter and owner affordability in the area, and a desire for accountability and transparency of elected officials. Our second town hall meeting was a little bit bigger. We had 150 people in attendance, and about 20 people spoke of all ages. And this was really an open listening session where residents came up and shared with us ideas of what they would like to see, things they liked about Empire Boulevard and things that they disliked about Empire Boulevard. So some of the things that people echoed over and over again that they really liked about the boulevard was that it's open, it's wide, you can see the sky. They liked the cultural institutions and recreation facilities that were close by, but they wanted to see more of that. They wanted to see more activities for youth, more activities for elderly people. They wanted to see more job opportunities. And they were concerned about pedestrian and bicyclist safety on the boulevard. So we had another meeting on August 19th where we started to build connections with the Department of Transportation, with the Parks Department, and with representatives from DOT. And in that meeting, we basically presented the first 2 town halls that we had had. So again, some of the existing conditions on Empire Boulevard that residents have said over and over again that they're not happy with include multiple storage units that take up long swaths of the block, underutilized buildings that have been empty for years, no connection or very little connection visually or as a pedestrian to Prospect Park and the Botanical Gardens and the zoo, and dangerous and unpleasant experience for pedestrians and bicyclists. So we came up with a few ideas, and this is a preliminary plan of trying to imagine what would it be like if we had more sidewalk activation. And instead of having 15 to 20 feet sidewalks, which is what currently exists, what if we took some of that space and turned it a little more green and put in a bike path that was separated from the traffic so people could enter the park safely along Empire Boulevard. And if we had trees and more greenery along the boulevard, it might create a better and stronger connection between Empire Boulevard and the park.
Your time's up, 15 minutes up. 15 minutes is up now. With all due respect to all other speakers who are going to be here tonight.
I have 2 more slides. So there's...
Yeah, we have a hefty speaker. We do have a hefty. Thank you. So, to the rest of the residents, we have order that we call from the beginning of the meeting. And after the Empire Boulevard, let me just say this. Can I just say one thing, community? It was established in the ULIP committee and agreed upon with this group that we originally gave them 10 minutes to present. Then we extended it to 15 minutes because of the hefty agenda that we have. We have 5 people who want to speak on this agenda item, excuse me. So at this time, there are 4 people who want to speak and comment on the Empire Study Group presentation. I'm going to ask you to come up here at this time. The first person who called the office was Alicia Boyd. The next person was Ann Pruden. The next person was Lisa Prudholm. The last person was Maxine Barnes. In that order, I'm going to ask you to come up here to my right. You each have 3 minutes to comment on the Empire Study Group presentation. Again, the first person was Alicia Boyd, Ann Pruden, Lisa Prudholm, and Maxine Barnes. The first person is Alicia Boyd. We have 3 minutes to comment. Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me. It was agreed on. We have 15 minutes. Are you relinquishing the 3 minutes? Are you relinquishing the 3 minutes? To the officers of 71st Precinct, I'm going to ask for order. And I'm asking for order. Are you going to do 3 minutes? Are you going to speak in 3 minutes? You have your 3 minutes. Thank you.
This is exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about a lack of respect for our community. Here we are doing a presentation, and this man has the nerve to sit there and say that we don't have a right to finish our presentation. This is what's wrong with this board. This board is not thinking about the community. They're thinking about themselves and only themselves. We have to sit there every day. We have to fight and struggle just to sit there and be heard. Why do we have to do that? We have a presentation that we This woman finished 2 more slides talking about for 15 minutes. Now the next presentation, he's going to allow to finish all the way through. And the next presentation, he's going to allow to finish all the way through. But we're second-class citizens in this community board. We're not allowed to sit on any committees. We're not allowed to sit at the table. And we're not even allowed to sit there and have our own presentation done. We're tired of being second-class citizens in our own community. Stop it. That's why we just launched a major lawsuit against this board. Last week we made a major lawsuit against this board asking for the removal of Demetrius Lawrence, the first person, Warren Berke, the second person, Tim Thomas, the third person, okay? And Michael Liburd. We will see CP9 in court because we're tired of the disrespect that you give us. This is a community board, not the board, a community board. And we are the community and we have a right to be heard. And we're tired of the disrespect that you keep giving us. That's why you gotta finish her presentation, but you won't. Man, are you next?
I give up my time to Amina. I give up my time to Amina.
How come you don't engage in conversation?
Thank you very much.
Look at that. I tried
To the full board,
He walks away.
we still have to govern ourselves. To the full community board, present before me, it was agreed upon at the meetings to give them 15 minutes. We have given them 15 minutes. So Ms. Ann Cooley, Ms. Ann Cooley, Ms. Ann Cooley, according to our policy, we will not leave us time to no other speaker. Ms. Ann Cooley, are you giving up your time? Ms. Lisa Prudhomme, Ms. Lisa Prudhomme, Ms. Lisa Prudhomme. Is Ms. Lisa Prudhomme present? Going once, going twice. Thank you. The last person is Maxine Barnes. Is Maxine Barnes here? According to our policy, no one speaks on behalf of anyone else. The time is not limited to no one else. This is the policy that was agreed upon. Is Maxine Barnes present? Is Maxine Barnes present? Thank you very much. So that concludes. She's not here now. That concludes the public comment period on the Empire State Group. Those who are present have the opportunity to speak. Ms. Ann Pruden, you have the opportunity to speak in 3 minutes. Do you relinquish your time, Ms. Pruden? Do you want to speak in 3 minutes? We're not doing that. Thank you very much. The next agenda item, we're going to move right along. Yes, sir. Sir, with all due respect, we have order. We've called this out at the beginning. We've had several meetings with this group regarding the time that we've allowed them to have. So, to the New York City Department of Parks, Recreation presentation, Parks and Park
respect for the board.
Do you have your presentation ready? Appreciate it. Please don't be discouraged or moved. Please don't bring up. To the community board members, my actually sign the sheet is to my left. To the community residents who want to sign in, is to my right.
Okay.